What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you all are doing well. Today I'm going to be cleaning up this valve cover. I'm going to polish up the Honda symbol and add some black wrinkle coat to the valve cover. The valve cover gasket needs to be replaced anyways, so I thought while I'm at it, let's clean this up. It looks pretty dirty right now. You can see there's leaking stuff everywhere, so we'll clean her up and make it nice and tight. Alright, so we'll get this valve cover taken off. Start by removing the spark plug wires from the tubes. Now I've already marked these, so I know which goes where. I'll pull these all off. And I will move them off to the side. And then I'll start taking off all these bolts. Now, this is a Honda D16Y7, so these are all 10 mils on top here. So I'll just start, I'll take this off first. So nice and quick with the impact. Off to the side a little bit. So the other thing you got to do is get this clip off and pull the evap tube off there, or the valve cover ventilation there. And now we're ready to pull this off. So super quick and easy. Oh, that's why. Not ready to take off. There we go. Broke the seal there. All right, so we've got some beautiful, disgusting varnish on this top end here. So this thing has about 272,000 kilometers on it, so definitely did not expect it to look perfect, but yeah, could be better. Before I get to working on the valve cover, I'm just gonna cover this up because I'm gonna have it open for a while, so I don't want anything getting in there. I have a really bad habit of bumping things, knocking things into where I'm working, so let's cover this up and make sure it's all good. Okay, so we got her nice and covered up. Nothing's gonna drop down in, which is perfect. So let's get started on the valve cover. So off camera I removed the bolts. They're pretty easy to get out. You just push them out, or use a little mallet to get them out. So I'm going to start off by prepping the surface with a 400 grit sandpaper. This will hopefully give the primer that I'm going to put on enough texture to bite to, and we'll also start as the base point for polishing up the Honda symbol here.
Alright, so off camera I pounded out these spark plug tube seals. So I'm going to be putting these back in before I paint, because you kind of got to hit from behind a little bit, so I don't want to be hitting with a brand new paint job on the other side. So I'm just using a 30 mil socket, and it fits pretty good around the edge there, and then just using a hammer to lightly tap it in. So I'm also going to clean up the hardware here. Some of the tops of the bolts are pretty corroded, so just going to use my little bench grinder there with a wire wheel attachment. I always make sure when I'm doing this that I wear some really good eye protection with side protection as well, just in case those little wire wheel pieces fly out. Alright guys, so I finished masking everything. I think she's ready to paint. Going to be using this self-etching primer first, so spray that on, a couple coats of that, and then let it sit for about a half hour. And then I'll get to the VHT Wrinkle coat and do a few coats of that. You're supposed to put it on fairly thick and do a bunch of different angles, so you're not just going at it with one angle. So yeah, let's see how this works. Alright, so one of the things they recommend for curing the paint is heat. Now, I definitely don't recommend this. Don't do as I do, but I built this kind of little heater box. So I'm gonna run this space heater and heat up the part. I think they say up to like 200 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. It's not gonna get near that warm in this box, but yeah, just a possible idea, but do not do this. Alright guys, so in this channel, I want to not only show you guys the good stuff, but also my failures. Unfortunately, I think this is one of my biggest failures. I hope it's showing up on camera, but you know, a wrinkle on the top kind of turned out alright, but start to look on the sides and there's some definite brutal looking wrinkle there. So I think where I went wrong was I definitely put it on too thick. The can calls for heavy coats, but I think I got a little bit overzealous with that and did some way too heavy coats. So I'm going to throw this on because I'm going to be pulling the valve cover off, probably off in about a month, so I can look at fixing it then. But definitely not very impressed. I'll show you. It's hard to see in the lighting, but there's definitely around the edges. The wrinkle coat gets a lot thicker and it just looks really bad. So major fail on my part. Alright guys, got the valve cover back on, and I realized rewatching some of the old footage that it was kind of hard to tell what I was talking about with how bad my wrinkle coat turned out. This probably shows you a good example. So right along here you can see where it went on too thick, and it's caused it to create kind of wrinkle lines that follow the drip marks. Also in and around the spark plug holes, yeah, there's a lot of buildup, which caused it really weird. And it's especially bad over on this side here where it went on really too thick and caused a lot of buildup. I mean, from 5 feet back, it looks okay, but I definitely didn't do a good job on it. What I think worked out pretty well was using the self-etching primer. I know a lot of guys don't necessarily prime before the wrinkle coat, but I think that's something you really want to do. I know a lot of people complain about flaking issues, and I think that's because they didn't prime it properly. Also, I think polishing the Honda emblem prior to spraying down the primer and the wrinkle coat worked out pretty well, because I was able to mask really easily on the letters, and then any kind of overspray, I was just able to use a little bit of paint thinner to get it off. So overall, I mean, it wasn't a great job, but for the kind of $40 I spent in materials, it wasn't so bad.